Good morning, this is Deepak. So today I am going to start answering questions that have been put forward on our website, discoveringyourcosmicself.com. So if you want to join this discussion, please visit that site because this answer will also be posted there. It'll be on YouTube. And basically, this website is to discuss the book, which is called You Are the Universe, Discovering Your Cosmic Self and Why It Matters. You are the universe, discovering your cosmic self and why it matters. Once again, the website is Discovering Your Cosmic Self and Why It Matters. And the book is You Are the Universe. Okay, so as you may or may not know, but Aurora Carlson is one of the moderators on this website, and she sends me questions that she has selected from people who have not yet read the book, but who have questions anyway. They haven't read the book because the book is coming out on February 7th, although you can pre-order it right now if you want. And if you do, you will be eligible for a course that will be offered by physicist Menas Kafotos and myself on the same website, discoveringyourcosmicself.com. Okay, so let's start with today's question that Aurora sent me. And the question is, there are many theories on the origin of the universe, none having a complete explanation. Are you offering a complete theory? There's another question that I may have time to answer, but I don't know if I will have time today, otherwise I'll answer it later. Dinosaurs became extinct because they were destructive. Will we become extinct because we have lost connection to the source? So, I don't think I'm going to answer that question completely today, but dinosaurs, according to current thinking, became extinct because a meteorite hit the Earth and caused a huge explosion, which was basically as bad or worse than an atomic bomb, and dinosaurs became extinct. And then we kind of evolved because we were an alternative species that now is asking these questions. So I'll go back to that question in maybe another post. I'll answer the question today. There are many theories on the origin of the universe, none having a complete explanation. Are you offering a complete theory? Okay, Liz asks, are you going to read more poetry soon? Yes, I will, but let me talk about the book right now and the question that has been asked. First of all, the book does discuss current theories of the universe. So, just to give you a taste of the material in the book, here are the first 9 chapters. The remaining 3 are actually answers to the questions. The first 9 chapters are questions that are being posed by science, and then the current thinking behind those questions. And so here are the questions. What came before the Big Bang? Why does the universe fit together so perfectly? Where did time come from? What is the universe made of? Is there design in the universe? Is the quantum world linked to everyday life? Do we live in a conscious universe? How did life first begin? Does the brain create the mind? Okay, so those are the 9 questions, and then I do discover the answers as we currently think about them in the last 3 chapters of the book, You Are the Universe. Okay, so the way humans have thought about the universe and thinking about the universe goes back several thousand years, so at least 3,000 years or a little more than that, people started asking questions that we are asking right now. Where did the universe come from? Does God exist? What is the meaning of existence? What happens after death? So the first theory was what we call the divine theory. God created the universe. And God created the universe, at least in the Bible, in 7 days about 5,000 years ago. We know that's not true, so we can basically say that all religious ideologies are in fact cultural mythologies, and they are quite similar. There's a deity that constructs the universe. So this theory of the universe went on till about when the European Enlightenment occurred, at least in the West. It went along till then, when we had the description of the classical universe ruled by laws of nature, which are regularities in nature, regularities of what we experience in nature. And then we had the classical universe of Isaac Newton, based on the laws of thermodynamics and the laws of motion. And there was mathematics. From this came a theory of gravity, etc., etc. So that was the prevailing theory, very accurate, gave rise to the industrial age, etc. Then came the theories of Einstein, both the special theory of relativity and the general theory of relativity. The special theory of relativity established the equivalence of mass and energy and the speed of light as a constant for all frames of reference. And then came the general theory of relativity that basically said that gravity is a distortion or a wrinkle or a curvature of space-time, something that's not easily visualizable, although people have attempted to do that, but not easily visualizable. And so these theories actually added, but also transcended, the previous theory of Newtonian physics. And then came the quantum theory, which established what we call the uncertainty principle, that established many things that have to do with fundamental activities in the universe, and also revisited space-time, but also confirmed a lot of the things that people were thinking about in the special special theory of relativity, more or less confirmed and was confirmed by quantum mechanics, which dealt with the behavior of very small particles at the fundamental levels of reality. So from here came things like quantum leap, non-local correlation, Heisenberg uncertainty principle, and later the understanding of information as fundamental or as an aspect of the fundamental workings of nature at a micro level. Okay? So that was the special theory of relativity. The general theory of relativity describes things at macro scales and does not actually agree with or conform with or cannot be reconciled with quantum theory. So there is a kind of a disconnect between the general theory of relativity and the theory of quantum mechanics. Okay, right now, what are the theories of the origin of the universe? They are something called cosmic inflation, something called eternal inflation, something called chaotic inflation. These are all different versions. Then, of course, there is the superstring theory of quantum mechanics, and there are theories that suggest multi-universes. So these are current theories, and of course, the great vision. Stephen Ross says there's no universe. I'll come to that, Stephen. So right now, as I said, there are many theories on the origins of the universe. Although everyone agrees that the universe is about 13.8 billion years old, and these theories are, some of them agree with each other, some of them have disagreements with each other, and some of them actually contradict each other, and there's no theory that is complete. That's the holy grail of science, a complete theory on the origins of the universe, or a complete theory of the universe, period, a grand unified field theory. So how do we actually bring all these understandings together? Okay, how do we bring all the forces of the universe as we understand them? So there's the electromagnetic force, there's the strong force which holds the nucleus of an atom together, there's the weak force that explains radioactive decay, and then of course there is gravity. So right now the strong force, the weak force, electromagnetism have been unified, but there's a struggle going on how to unify these forces with the force of gravity. Okay, so this is where we stand right now in the world of science. I've kind of tried to summarize it in the last 12 minutes or so. Not an easy thing to do, but I did my best. And this is what I want to now this is what I want to now explore with you, with your help, with your dialogue, with your engagement. So first of all, what's a theory? A theory is a system of thought, right? You can't have a theory without thinking it up. So theory is a system of thought. And where does that thought occur? That thought occurs in your consciousness. That thought occurs in your consciousness, or what we call awareness. In fact, the thought itself is a modified form of consciousness. Okay? The divine universe, the Newtonian universe, the universe of Einstein, the universe of the quantum pioneers, the universe that is being described by current scientists and cosmologists, all these theories, they have their origin in thought, and then our consciousness, which is the source of thought, a modified form of consciousness as a thought, constructs theories. Then in consciousness, we design experiments. Then in consciousness, we make observations. Then we come up with what we say is a correct theory. But no theory is totally correct, as we know. And one of the tests of science is that we can verify the theory, we can replicate the experiments, we can make predictions, and then we can even create technology. As I've said, we've been able to land men on the moon and send a rover to Mars, and we're having this conversation through cyberspace. So something is correct about some of these theories, right? Because otherwise we wouldn't be able to fly jet planes and send email or have this conversation. But you do realize that these theories came about in that which we call awareness. So what I'm going to tell you right now, which is a little more radical, is the idea that you think you have a mind is a theory. The idea that you think you have a body is a theory. Thank you, Shelley Sweeney from Tokyo. Okay, so I'll go back to what I'm saying. The idea that you have a mind is a theory. The idea that there is such a thing as a body is a theory. The idea that there is such a thing as a universe is a theory. Right. Now that's very, you start to think about that. There's no mind, there's no body, and there's no universe. There's no mind, there's no body, and there's no universe. These are theories based on the knowing of experience. I'm going to have to use words to express the ineffable, but I'm going to try my best. So, there is experience, then there is the knowing of experience, and then there is the interpretation of experience. By the time we get to an interpretation, as human beings, we are ready to come up with theories. Okay, the divine universe, Newtonian universe, relativistic universe, quantum universe, chaotic inflation, eternal inflation, multiverses. None of this would be possible if we didn't have experience, the knowing of experience, and then the interpretation of experience. Okay? So, we should all agree that we have experience. A baby is born, you look at the baby and you immediately know that baby is having an experience which you've had. So if it smiles, you know it's probably happy and joyful. If it cries, you know it's in distress, etc., etc. You know from looking at the baby what the baby may be experiencing. You can guess because you had the experience. Okay? So that's very fundamental. A baby has experience. At some level it knows it has experience because it smiles, it plays, it laughs, it cries, it's in distress. So it's having experience. It knows it's having experience, and then out of that experience, it expresses itself in a way that says that the experience is comfortable, pleasurable, uncomfortable, unpleasurable, distress, etc. So I think we can all agree that there is experience and there is the knowing of experience. What is that baby experiencing? The baby is experiencing itself. It's experiencing what's happening in itself. Colors and sensations and images and feelings. Thoughts will come later, but it is experiencing qualities of itself. Sound, touch, sight, taste, smell. These are words for experience. They don't actually describe or give you the experience. They describe the experience, they don't give you the experience. If I say strawberry, you know what I mean, but you're not eating a strawberry, you're not having the experience of strawberry or apple. Or if I say I'm unhappy, then you don't necessarily have the experience of unhappiness. So the description of the experience is not the experience. It's not even the knowing of the experience, it's some intimation of the experience. So baby is experiencing itself, and then it is experiencing qualia, qualities of experience within itself, sensations, images, feelings, as I said, thoughts come later because language comes later, and it's experiencing what we would call perceptual reality. It is seeing, it is hearing, it is thinking, it is tasting, it is smelling, it is sensing. So that's what the baby is experiencing. Now, you come along as a parent and you say, hey baby, this is a book. What was it before we called it a book? It was this. It was this. It was this. That's all it was. Okay? That's all it was. And feeling that came. Then came a theory. This is your name. This is your nationality. This is a body. That's a mind. There's things you can't touch and taste and feel, but you know you're having thoughts. These are descriptions of mind. These sensations that you're having, these are your hands, this is your body. Okay? So now we have what we call human construct on experience. And it's a very valuable thing, this human construct of experience, human interpretation of experience. It's very valuable because it helps us actually, first of all, create the concept, the idea that there's mind, body, and universe, when all there is experience and the knowing of experience. But now, because we have created constructs, we can actually navigate experience through our constructs. So I can say, I'll meet you at the corner of 56th and Broadway at 12 noon. And then we meet, right? So it's a useful construct. We created constructs, latitude, longitude, based on the regularities of experience that we call the laws of nature. And through creating latitude and longitude, then we created concepts like Europe and India and Latin America and Canada. We created kingdoms and empires, and then we navigated our experience through basically creating human constructs around experience. Became useful, didn't it? Became useful because we are now having this conversation. But who is the we, who is the I that is having the experience? This is what we need to question. Okay, and I just, a friend of mine who goes by the name of Troy Avis, he sent me a quote from Nisargadatta Maharaj, and the quote basically says, the source of consciousness cannot be an object in consciousness. I would rephrase that and say the source of experience cannot be an object of experience. Because in fact the object of experience is a modified form of experience itself. Okay? There is experience, there is the knowing of experience, there is the interpretation of experience, and there are constructs, human constructs, that say there is mind, there is body, and there is universe. So the universe is a human construct. The body is a human construct. The word shirt is a human construct. Even the mind is a human construct for very fundamental reality, which is experience and the knowing of experience. Bella Ha says, God didn't create us. So the word God, as we usually use it, is the word God, as we usually use it, is a human construct. In the same way that the body is construct, in the same way as cells in the body are a construct, in the same way that the universe is a construct. Joanne Cooper says, is everything is then a thought? Yes, in a way it is, but who is it that thinks about thought? What is it that thinks about thought? Ask yourself, who or what is thinking about thought? Who or what wants to know? Who or what knows or doesn't know? Who or what is asking these questions? Now we're getting a little closer, okay? Closer. So the source of experience is what we call I. I. And then we say, who is I? This is I. No, this is that's what this is. Experience. The rest is a description. What is the source of this experience? Ask that. So for lack of a better word, we can say the source of all experience is awareness. And the object of all experience is modified forms of awareness. Modified forms of awareness. What are they? Thoughts, feelings, emotions, sensations. So before I say this is a book, which is a human construct, there is seeing. Before I say that was a clap, that's hearing. Before I say this is a strawberry, there's tasting. Before I say this is the smell of a fragrant rose, there is the smelling. Tasting, feeling, smelling, seeing, touching, these are experiences. And actually these are modified forms of consciousness itself. Right? So there's experience and the modified forms of consciousness or awareness that we call reality. But that's not reality. Reality is that in which experience is constructed. Reality is that which modifies itself as experience. Okay, so shall we stay with science? Of course we shall stay with science. It's the best model of reality that we have. But it is not reality. Reality is ha ha ha. Reality is how are you? What's your feeling? Okay? Human beings are the most interesting species because through interpreting experience and creating science, we have the ability to do extraordinary things. We have become the gods that we looked up to or imagined. We can do extraordinary things because of the scientific model, both divine and diabolical. So we can heal our planet, a human construct, and we can destroy our planet, a human construct. What we cannot destroy is the I in which the experience occurs. The body occurs as an experience in I, a constantly shifting, intermittent stream of sensations and sense experiences. Okay, where do we experience the mind? I have a mind. Okay, the mind is an experience in I. But the I is not a person, because the person itself is a construct, a process in I. In I. I am that I am. Before Abraham was, I am. Aham. Aham Brahmasmi. I am the universe. So here is, again, to say that I am the universe is a construct, but it's the best we can say. As Rumi said, God's language is silence. Everything else is poor translation. So where science cannot go, poetry goes. So I will read now two poems from Rabindranath Tagore. As T.S. Eliot said once, poetry is a raid on the inarticulate. So just like the universe is an experience, but it's a construct around an experience, so is the ego a construct around who I am. Because who I am is not the ego. Who I am is the I within the I. Ena. That's by the way, the Aramaic word for I. The I beyond the human construct that we call I is the ego. The I beyond the ego is the I of the universe. It's who we really are. The self of the universe. The self of the universe. Tagore, he whom I enclose with my name is weeping in this dungeon. I am ever busy building this wall all around, and as this wall goes up into the sky day by day, I lose sight of my true being in its dark shadow. I take pride in this great wall, and I plaster it with dust and sand, lest the least hole be left in this name. And for all the care I take, I lose sight of my true being. I came out alone on my way to my tryst, but who is this? Who is this that follows me in the silent dark? I move aside to avoid his presence, but I escape him not. He makes the dust rise from the earth with his swagger. He adds his loud voice to every word that I utter. He is my own little self, my Lord. He knows no shame, but I am ashamed to come to your door in his company. That's the ego self that interferes with our knowing of ourself, which is the self of the universe. One of Tagore's poems in the last time of his life as this present form, he says, "When I go from hence, let this be my parting word, that what I have seen is unsurpassable. When I go from hence, let this be my parting word, that what I have seen is unsurpassable. I have tasted of the hidden honey of this lotus that expands on the ocean of light, and so I am blessed. Let this be my parting word. In this playhouse of infinite forms I have had my play, and here I have caught sight of that which is formless. My whole body and my limbs have thrilled with his touch who is beyond touch. And if the end comes here, let it come now. Let this be my parting word. This is the self of which is beyond all description. This is the self of the universe. This is now. Now is not a moment in time. Now is the presence of being. Okay, so I hope I've answered the question. There's no unified field theory of the universe. The universe is not a theory. The universe is being and modified forms of being that we call reality, that we call experience. Being is transcendent, not in space-time, cannot be located because it has no location. Location itself is a human construct. Let's go there by being in love, because being in love is all there is. Being is love. Thank you.